That's your faith and mental health conflicts. That's your faith within you.
I'll say no, it doesn't conflict because when you talk about Ghana here, as I said, the education is low. They don't know what is wrong with you. All they know is that the Bible or the Quran says do this for the person, or they would refer to a story or a particular something that happened in the book, right? And then they'll do what they can do best for you. If what they do doesn't work for you, then go and find cure somewhere else. And this is where people turn to the traditional priests to do concussions and what have you. And then when you get there, it becomes worse because these people, to their education is low. They'll chain them, give them medicine, like they are not nice to them. As like if the patient, let me use the word, if the patient was with the family, how they would treat the person. For example, they don't give them food.
Yeah.
They'll chain them to maybe trees or posts. Yeah. You know, they don't even bath them. It's so sad when they do that thing. And then they think, oh, you are working. You know, but they don't have education. They come from a poor background. So they think, oh, what they are doing is the best thing. And then you see family members come to visit this relative. Sometimes too, some family members will bring food and these people will give the food to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes what the person is going through is something mild. But when they go to this traditional priest, they worsen the case. For example, I know of a teacher, right? He used to walk normally, but he started limping. So one leg became taller than the other. And he went to hospital, and still, you know how Ghanaian hospital, they'll take a long time before they find out what is wrong with you, right? So this person was doing, my teacher was going about his normal activities, and somebody came to tell him, said, oh, I know this traditional priest who do this thing for you. When he went, what he saw with his eyes, sorry for laughing, what he saw with his eyes, he said the traditional priest had one girl. And if that woman is mensing, they wouldn't prepare food. The woman wouldn't prepare food. So you could be hungry, you could starve, and they'll come and give you concoction. So you should see that
taking concoction without food.
Yes. Oh. Environments like this wouldn't improve the health of the person.
Yeah.
And that's what these traditional people they do to mental or patients who are not well. Sometimes it's not the serious case, it's something mild. As you said, maybe you need to talk to that person, but no, you send them to somebody who doesn't even have any education. And you call yourself illiterate. Then go and give your patient to an illiterate to take care of. I mean, it's bad.
Okay.
But religion doesn't conflict because I see that religion tries to make the best out of what they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Wow.
And just to add up to Islamically, I don't think Islam as a religion conflict with issues of mental health. It stresses on the issue of mental health. It acknowledges the fact that some people sometimes can go through a lot mentally.
Okay. And
you need to seek for medical attention. Sometimes it may be in the form of prayer. Sometimes it will go beyond prayers.
Sure.
You need to go beyond prayers. You need to go for professionals to check up on you. What exactly is wrong with you? So I don't think in any way Islam as a religion conflicts with mental health.
Sure, okay. Thank you for your submission, your view on this issue. Okay.
I also believe same.
Believe same as in
faith and mental health. There shouldn't be any. It's rather supposed to go together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for Christians like this, we subscribe to a peace of mind and a peace at heart.
Okay.
Even before you be able to worship God fully, they're supposed to be okay here and okay here.
Okay.
And so if at any point in time you feel like you're going through a lot, there's so much happening to you, first of all, check with God and then check your physical aspect, the physical aspect, as in your health. Are you eating well?
That's true.
Are you eating well? Are you having enough sleep? Are you stressing yourself too much? And then you go to the hospital. Like, you should encourage yourself. Don't just stay behind, okay? And then you come to God with the peace of at heart and then the peace of mind. That is what I believe.
Okay.
Okay, so the little that I will add is This is something that the religious society, I see that they lack in our country, is this mental counseling activities.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of churches in this country that don't have this routine where if a member is going through mental problems,
Exactly.
they will call them to sit down. Most of the time, it's not that the person needs a spiritual help. The person needs somebody to talk
Talk
to.
to.
And this is one thing that we lack, even in the state, the country itself. It lacks this counseling projects and this counseling sections. So I think that we can do better by having these things being issued in the churches and in the works to talk to our members and see what is going through their minds.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if they are able to understand their physical side, well, getting better in the spiritual aspect is okay.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that's what.
Okay, so based on what you are saying on this issue that culture or what you call it, religion, your religion does not conflict with mental health. How have you seen your religious community respond to this poorly?
The emphasis was
The poorly.
Poorly, because I believe I believe that in everything maybe you have negative and positive aspects. You get it? Yeah. So you admitted the fact that your faith or your religion does not conflict with what do you call it? Um, mental health. I know it have positive aspect, but also I'm interested in see the negative aspect. So how have you seen it respond to it?
Poorly.
I would say, just like I was saying, the the church lacks, the church in the country, 99.9% of us lack this counseling sessions to help our members, because we are doing a poor work at that part. Because you go to a lot of churches, big churches, and you see that most of their members are mentally ill. They are there like for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. They are still there. What are we doing for them? And even where we keep them is very poor. Some people, they are chained to trees, chained to, kept in private rooms. They are not being taken good care of, and it's very bad. So me, I would say that, yeah, for what I see, we are doing a very poor work at that side.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I side with what he's saying. And then sometimes, there are different kind of health, mental health issues, right? You get somebody, the person is calm, and then you see the person saying gibberish. You get somebody who is very violent, shouting and jumping, and those people they are treated badly because, like, for them sometimes they can chain them, use rope to handcuff them, their hands. Sometimes when you even see the places where they are placed, in the name of we are praying for the person, it's very bad. Yeah. But apart from that, it's okay.
All right. So it's now you see why I asked Paul. And I asked for you guys to work with me. Because I knew that basically you're going to have
Emphasis is on
The point.
okay, my point was okay already. I get it.
Yes, sometimes in a Muslim societies, for example, we tend to focus on the prayer
Yeah.
much more than seeking for professional help, guidance, or for medical treatments.
Okay.
There is this term or this prayer in Islam called ruqya.
Okay.
Somebody who has been possessed, the prayer we do for the person. I think Muslim leaders or Muslim scholars, they tend to focus on this much
Yeah.
than seeking for professional to cite them or to diagnose them and see what exactly is the problem.
Okay.
It's not always the case that we should pray for them. Yes, prayer is a very important instrument we can use, but I think with this modern day or this contemporary society, we have a lot of sophisticated machines that we can use to diagnose people.
Exactly.
Instead of relying on prayer. It has not always been the case that, yes, we are not in any way distorting the fact that prayer is important.
Okay.
And we should also focus.
So you
Yes,
add
the
the
Muslim
prayer
society
and then this is-
will only focus on the prayer, forgetting that there are professionals who can also help in curbing issues of mental health. So I think that is a problem the Muslim society is also lacking. Yes.
Wow. I like
Well,
that.
for me, I think it depends.
Okay.
So why am I saying this? So Just as he was saying, the big churches. In fact, we have churches where you find
You also want to
psychologists
focus on
inside.
small churches, right?
I think where if we are able to get the experts in the church, it will go a long way to help. Okay, so if the church doesn't have a psychologist or a doctor or someone who feels that this needs emergency is an emergency and the person needs to go to the hospital, rather than let us pray and pray and pray and pray. And so if you have these professionals amongst us, we can have sessions, as he was saying. They can have they can educate us. We'll have sessions where they'll come and speak with us concerning our mental health and all that. And you realize that churches where they have these professionals, okay, you wouldn't find lots of the people having these mental issues. And especially with the counseling session. Okay, so visit the counselor, go to the counselor throughout the week. What were some of the challenging things that you encountered? And the more you are talking to these professionals, you realize that your mental state or your mental health is very, very okay. So I think sometimes it depends. If only we have the professionals around, it will be much easier to curb such
Can
a
I add
big
up
issue.
to what you are saying? What you're saying is right, but I would like to tell you that
Okay.
there are the professionals who are like psychiatric, what's the word? The psychologists, and they aren't enough.
Sure.
Right. They are not plenty, but we have a lot of mad people on the streets and then in hospitals. Why is the reason? It's because the individual, when going through medical school, has his or her own special place he or she wants to be. Right. So one time I went to visit my sister. She works opposite the psychiatric hospital, the one at Adabaka. And then these training nurses, they came. And then, they shift them to ear, heart, those specific. And then one lady was like, she said in she that, me, psychiatry want me, they make call my person, cow.
Literal
And
translation.
what does it mean?
Meaning that I don't like being transferred to the psychiatric place because of the people there.
Oh, okay.
And then the friend was like, oh, Ade, why? And I was like, the people there, they are not correct. Why should she associate herself with those people? The people would laugh at her that she went to school for how many years and then she's working as a nurse. Do you get me?
Sure. I guess.
Sometimes the stigma in the society, it stops some people from doing what they have to do. Right? So it makes this psychologists and the psychiatrists people in the mental field small, or the average number they are small. So I think the education would really help. That these people, they are normal people, just like any sick person having malaria, any pregnant woman, you can attend to the person. But because of the stereotype, the stigma, the stories behind these mad people, they just don't want to go into that field.
Okay.
You get me?
All right.
Okay, Ishaba, not to cut you off. What Bill Chris is saying is very, very true. Because a lot of people are in the church, in the mosques, and they feel like I can't approach these people with my problem. Let me talk to God about it. Let me do that. But this is what I know. Faith without work is dead.
Exactly.
Get it?
Maybe sometimes use the word barren.
So if you are having a problem and you yourself as a person, you are not working on it, and you are trying to add faith to it, it's not going to work. And this is what I would say. The people need to be educated that mental health is a problem, and it's not something that we need to be keeping it to ourselves. We need to talk to people about it. How should I say? Last year I was going through a lot, family issues and all that.
Oh, sorry.
But I had to talk to my reverend, and he is not a psychiatrist,
Okay.
but he's a surgeon, a doctor. You get it? So I had to talk to him, sat me down, took me through some processes, and it made me realize that there are certain things that I should not be keeping to myself. I should share with the people who have the listening ear to listen,
Okay.
who are able to help me. And this is what we must be teaching in our religious societies, to tell the people that they shouldn't be keeping these issues to themselves. They should talk to people about it, because it is how do this the African people, they say that wisdom is not in one person's head. You get it? Nyansa, wisdom is not in one person's head. So and a problem shared is what half solved. So if we are able to talk to people about our issues and our problems, I think it will also help us to release certain stress, certain burdens on our life, and see how we can attach faith to it and help us in the long run.
Okay, thank you very much. And I remember when I said how this religious community responds to it badly or poorly, you guys were kind of sad. So I think you are interested in the good part too. So I'd like you to share with me, how have you seen religious communities responding to this issue good, or in a good terms? Do you get it?
Oh yeah, they have. You see the people lying on the streets and all that. Sometimes some fellowships or church people go to give them food, they give them clothing, they try to speak to them. Unfortunately, it's not done often.
Yeah.
Once a while, during Christmas or
Or when
during
somebody is
Easter.
celebrating.
Exactly, and that shouldn't be the case.
Okay.
But at least they try. Okay, they try to visit these hospitals.
Okay.
They donate items to them just to help them recover soon and then come back to church.
Oh,
So
sharp.
they help in a way.
Nice.
Yeah, it's true. And what Stella is saying is actually true. And most of these religious societies are also building facilities to facilitate these people. A lot of psychiatric hospitals in the country are being built by religious societies to help these people find a better place to stay, because living outside and with all this rain and sunshine is very
Ghana to
much.
how the Sunday.
Yeah. So I think that's something that they are doing, that I will say that they are doing something good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, to add up to what she said, like they are really trying. So back then they didn't have much information, but now I think they are getting more information about mental health. So they are doing everything possible, as they say, donations to these facilities and all that stuff. And then when you come to them with your problems, if they know they cannot help you, they will refer you to somewhere you can get help to. Yes. So I think yes, they are really trying in that aspect.
All right.
They cannot do all at the same
But they are
time,
trying
but they
their
are
best.
trying their
All
best.
right. Nice.
I think religious bodies in recent times are trying their best to help people with issues of mental health. Because if you clearly look around us, we see some associations, religious bodies that are even paying for the bills for people to be treated in terms of their mental conditions.
Okay.
And so one way or the other, we clearly can see that there is some positive changes
Oh.
in this our religious bodies. But now they have realized that it's not always the case that we should pray.
Okay.
Sometimes we should also engage doctors and surgeons. So I think they are also now, if you look at the Muslim communities, for example, not only educating them, they are also financing
Oh wow.
the
That's
bills. So I think it's a very good initiative, and then we encourage them to continue.
nice. Sure.
I think in the coming years, you will see positive change.
Also, okay.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me here. So we've all said a lot about faith, our faith, people's faith, and how faith works in our societies, where we also try to talk about mental health. So we've said a lot about these two things. So what would be your last advice or maybe recommendation to our religious bodies, our religious community out there, how they deal with this issue in the society? So I'd like you to say something small, or maybe your recommendation or your advice to them, how you think things might be done in order to respond to this mental issue or mental health issue at hand.
Okay, so I will start by saying a lot of education needs to be done,
Okay.
especially the education.
Okay.
Our psychology department and our hospital department in school should improve on their education, on the psychological part of aspect of our society, because we need them. We really, really need them, because this thing, if these people are not many in the country, the problem is not going to go away.
Okay.
Because if we have these psychiatrists in our schools, especially in the senior high schools, it's going to help us, and in the churches too, it is going to help us, or the mosques and any other religious society, it is going to help us. And the people also need to be educated. As I was saying, we have to be educated that mental health is a very huge problem, and we should not be keeping it to ourselves. We should share it with people who are ready to help us. Because if we continue to keeping it to ourselves and continue stigmatizing ourselves, then when is it going to end? It is not going to end. So we should educate ourselves much on that, and I think that is one way that we can move forward.
Okay.
Yeah. To add up to what he said, apart from the education, we should understand that what the person is going through, the person is suffering. So you shouldn't run away from the person. You shouldn't treat the person bad. You only worsen the case. So with the little information or education you had, try as much as possible to make the person feel okay as a part of the society, right? Because if he or she is having a mild downbreak, and then you, as a family relative, you are mistreating him or her, it would worsen. But if you give them the right treatment, being in the mosques, in the church, at school, where have you? You know, when I was in school, I had a bipolar student who was my junior. I had an autism student who was my junior. You get me? So we should make them feel that, yes, they are part of the society. It doesn't matter what they are going through, we are there for them. I think it would improve it. In addition to the education, yeah, the treatment or the attitude would be best. No stigmatization, the myth and superstition that they put to it. Yes.
Okay.
Do you get me?
I get it.
We should lessen it. If you see a mad person, don't run away. Calmly walk beside the person, but not too close, because you don't know what the person is.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what if the person hits you with it?
There have been instances I've been doing that. When the person sees that you are calm, you are walking, they wouldn't do anything. But immediately you see them coming, you run across the street, then maybe they'll chase you. You get me? So the attitude too works in addition to the education.
All right.
I think my family is familiar with this. Make hay while the sun shines. One thing is that it starts with us. Okay. So be a listening ear to someone else. When someone is willing to share their problem with you, gladly listen to them and give them your piece of advice. And that doesn't mean you should tell another friend and they tell another friend. Because that is the fear most of them have. Okay. Yeah. They believe once I tell it out, it will spread and everybody will see me like a maniac or like an insane person. Do you understand? So it begins with us at home. Like you're supposed to pick up these little signs. You know your mother is a hyper person. She's always happy. And then one day she's so quiet, she's sitting there. You should notice something is not right. Get closer, speak with them, engage them on it. So I believe that it starts with us. The education comes in, get rid of the stigmatization, and it goes a long way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice.
I think mine will be on the government.
Okay.
The role
you
of the religious
government.
Because it's very important. If you look at the social contract theory, yes, if you look at the social contract theory,
exactly.
Okay, there is this link between the government and the individual citizens.
Okay.
So the individual citizens have forfeited some of their rights in the states. They tend to be protected when they are vulnerable. Okay. So the government should come to their aid when they are vulnerable. Okay. Issues of mental health like this. We see in our country, Ghana, government is bent on building district hospitals, cheap compounds, regional hospitals, forgetting about the psychiatric hospitals.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very important issue that the government should also look at that. And then the people who are going through mental health should also have a place to be catered for. If we keep building regional hospitals, district hospitals that will be taking care of malaria, chronic disease, forgetting about the psychiatric, I think the government has that to take care of.
Yeah.
Then you should also collaborate with religious bodies. You know, individuals, they always have this belief that when they take their issues to the religious bodies, it is quite safer to take it to the government.
Okay.
They believe in their religious leaders. If I have issue, I would like to go to my religious leader, my imam, my pastor, to talk to him about it. Sometimes the pastor too or the imam has a limited role to play. What he can also do is to refer to the government. So there's this kind of synergy between the government and the religious body, so that they were able to collaborate in solving the issue of mental health in our country.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for your time. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Stella. And thank you, Jafar. You guys really did an amazing job. I enjoyed the conversation. Sure.
We did too.
Very nice and interesting. You guys have educated me. There are a lot of things I didn't know before, but now you've elaborated me on that, and I really appreciate your time. Okay, so on this note, we are bringing our conversation to an end. And as we said, we talked about the culture, good culture in Ghana. And mostly on this podcast, we talked about faith and mental health. And we have learned a lot. Don't forget the person who was the moderator for this program or this podcast is Stephen Jesse, probably known as Insurable.